The last time you cried, you tasted salt. You probably didn't think about it. A tear ran down to your lips, it tasted like the sea, and you wiped it away. But stop for a second. Why salt? Of all the things your body could leak when you're sad, why does it choose salt water? The exact same thing that fills every ocean on this planet. That's not a coincidence. The salt in your tears is a message. It's a clue left behind from a time before you were human, before you were a mammal, before your ancestors ever breathed air. Because the truth is, when you cry, you're not just feeling an emotion, you're leaking a piece of an ocean that's been inside your family for 500 million years. Here's something strange about your own body. You are mostly water, but it's not just any water, it's salt water. Your blood, your sweat, your tears, all of it carries salt. And the saltiness isn't random. The concentration of salt in your body is shockingly close to the concentration of salt in the sea. For a long time, scientists noticed this and asked the obvious question, why would a land animal walking around in the dry air be built around salt water on the inside? The answer goes back to where all life began. Around 3.5 billion years ago, the first living things didn't appear on land, they appeared in the ocean. For billions of years, every living thing on Earth lived in the sea, surrounded by salt water, soaking in it, made of it. The ocean wasn't just their home, it was their bloodstream. The salt water flowed in and out of those early cells, carrying nutrients in and waste out. Then, around 375 million years ago, something happened that changed everything. A few brave creatures crawled out of the water and onto dry land. And here's the part most people never think about. They couldn't leave the ocean behind, so they took it with them. Think about the problem those first land animals faced. Every cell in their body had evolved to live inside salt water. Their cells needed it to function, but on land there was no ocean to float in. So evolution found a workaround. Instead of living in the sea, they sealed the sea inside their bodies. They wrapped their cells in skin and carried their own private ocean within them, a salty internal fluid that bathed every cell, just like the real ocean once did. That fluid became blood. It became the liquid inside your eyes. It became sweat. It became tears. This is why your tears taste like the sea. They taste like the sea because, in a very real way, they're a piece of the sea, an ancient ocean your ancestors trapped inside their bodies hundreds of millions of years ago and never let go of. Every time you cry, you're releasing a few drops of a 500 million-year-old ocean. The question is, why does sadness make it leak out at all? Here's something almost nobody knows. You don't cry one kind of tear. You cry three. The first kind is called basal tears. Bees are working all the time, every second, even right now. A thin, salty film coating your eyes, keeping them wet, protecting them from dust and drying out. Your eyes are basically tiny tide pools that never run dry. The second kind is reflex tears. These show up when something irritates your eye. Onions, smoke, a speck of dust. Your eye floods itself with salt water to wash the invader out. It's a defense mechanism, pure plumbing. But the third kind is the strange one. The third kind is emotional tears, the ones you cry when you're heartbroken or overwhelmed, or even overwhelmed with joy. And here's the part that should stop you cold. Emotional tears are chemically different from the other two. When scientists analyzed them, they found emotional tears contain extra stress hormones and natural painkillers that the other tears don't have. Your body is literally flushing out chemicals of stress when you cry, which leads to the biggest mystery of all. Here's the fact that breaks people's brains. Out of every animal on Earth, humans are the only ones who cry emotional tears. Lots of animals make tears to protect their eyes. Dogs, elephants, even crocodiles produce them. But no other animal cries because it's sad. No dog weeps at a funeral. No lion sheds tears over a lost cub. The physical eye protection, that's everywhere. But tears as an emotion, Tears that pour out because of how you feel, that appears to be uniquely, strangely human. So evolution gave us something no other species has. The question every scientist asks is why? What survival advantage could possibly come from leaking salt water down your face when you're upset? And the leading answer is beautiful. Crying might be one of the most powerful social signals humans ever developed. Think about it. When you see someone cry, something happens to you instantly. You soften, you want to comfort them. Tears are a signal that words can't fake easily, broadcasting, "I need help, I'm in pain, come closer." In a species that survives by sticking together, a visible, honest signal of distress would have been priceless. Crying may be the glue that pulls humans together in our worst moments. And here's the proof that this is built deep into us. You didn't learn to cry, you were born doing it. The very first thing you did when you entered this world, before you could see clearly, before you understood a single word, before you had a name, was cry. A newborn baby can't speak, can't point, can't ask for anything, but it can cry, and that cry is a survival tool. It says, "I'm here, I need you, keep me alive." And it works because the sound of a crying baby is almost impossible for a human adult to ignore. We come into the world crying, and for most of human history, that first cry was the difference between being noticed and being forgotten, between surviving the first hour of life and not. So crying isn't a weakness, it's one of the very first tools your body ever used to keep you alive. 3.5 billion years ago, all life began in the ocean, surrounded by salt water. 375 million years ago, the first creatures crawled onto land and sealed that ocean inside their bodies, turning it into blood, sweat, and tears. Then, somewhere along the human line, evolution did something no other animal does. It connected that salty fluid to our emotions, turning tears into a signal of pain, a call for help, a way to pull other humans close. And we are born already knowing how to do it. The salt on your lips when you cry isn't random. It's a fingerprint of the ocean every living thing once came from. You carry a piece of that ancient sea inside you, and when life overwhelms you, a few drops of it spill out. The next time you cry, remember what you're actually tasting. Not just sadness, not just salt. You're tasting the ocean your ancestors climbed out of 500 million years ago. The sea they refused to leave behind, so they carried it inside them instead. Every tear is a tiny piece of the first home life ever had. You didn't escape the ocean, you became its container. And every now and then, when you feel too much, it remembers where it came from and leaks back out. If there's a human behavior you've always wondered about, drop it in the comments. Your question might be the next video. And if you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of curious mind this channel is built for.